Hello, Quilt Roadies. How are you doing? I have been busy, and I'm going to share all that busyness with you. But first, let's just go over a little bit of a weather report. Yesterday was gorgeous until late afternoon, and then we said, I think it might be the season to bring in all the cushions, and that's what we did. And today is intermittent rain. Cloudy skies, yeah, with the full harvest moon, we barely saw it. Never saw the comet that was going through, and yeah, that's kind of where we've been around this area, but we're not complaining because a lot of you are dealing with so much worse. But anyway, you get to take a break now. It's been a little over 2 weeks, I think, since we've gathered here in the beehive, and I have some things to share with you and some thoughts, and I'm just glad you're here. So if this is your first time, it is a channel about quilting, embroidery, English paper piecing, pretty much anything having to do with needle and thread. I do have a separate channel called Stitch Roadies, which is about life too, and also cross stitch. So let's get with it. Well, first of all, I just wanted to share with you what my son has been up to. So if any of you are interested for the holiday seasons to get some gifts for the more gamers in your life. Anyway, one of my sons writes with a group of friends a series of books that can be used online or with paper and pencil, old school. And it is with either Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder. Kind of lost on me, although I've been really tempted to invest in one of those game systems for the television so that my grandkids will always want to come over. But anyway, if you are interested, I'll put a link down below. My son and his series, some of his friends have written a series of books. So there we go. And there's another one. And I noticed when I looked at the information on the books, because I told him I needed a set, even though I don't play. I needed a set because he and his friends wrote it. But also because apparently some of the artwork in the books is by my other son, which is quite interesting. And then this one, if you've been on Stitch Roadies, you know about this one. That's my mother. She would love this. My son made her a character in this book, and she's a doctor, which when she was a young woman in Korea, she always wanted to be a doctor, but that didn't happen back then. You could be a teacher, and that's what she was. But she always wanted to be a doctor, so my son made her a doctor in this book. And I love this because she has a sash with test tubes there. She would get such a kick out of that. So I'll put the link below if any of you are interested in a gift item for someone in your life that plays those games. Okay, whoever said that quilting is a sedentary activity? I know that when I first started quilting, my mother was worried that it was going to be, unhealthy because you're always sitting and doing stuff at a table or in a chair. But after the last couple days, I can honestly say that quilting can be an aerobic activity. And I spent the good part of a day cutting out a quilt. I'm telling you, holy moly. So I wanted to get, before October blew by, and did it blow by? Between the fact that we went camping down to Arizona, and that every family member in our family practically has a birthday at during the month of October, and I celebrate all month. I didn't get on this project, which is for breast cancer awareness. So you can go on the Fat Quarter Shop and get your kit, and the fabrics are gorgeous. But, you know, I was a little bit nervous, and I know I mentioned this before, that I was nervous, and you all were so encouraging, and yeah, it just made me feel like, okay, I should be able to do this. And I also went and watched Kimberly Jolly's video on how to do this paper piecing, the woven heart quilt pattern, and it is gorgeous. And it came with all the little tools that you need, the water pen, and Kate put a little note in there for the water pen that said, "You're gonna love this." So I knew she would never steer me wrong. And then the 1/4-inch ruler, and then 2 packets of the paper, I guess you call it paper piecing sheets, foundation paper. There's 2 packs of these to make all the blocks. Yeah. So that all came in my kit, and I will put that link below. But, I mean, the cutting, this is an aerobic activity. The cutting was amazing. So here it is. It's all the pieces are cut up. Look, this size, 280 pieces. I mean, it's like amazing amount. And I checked off all the boxes, so whenever I got something done, I put in a little check mark so that I knew I was, you know, not going to be going, oh, what happened to that piece, or what happened to that part, what happened to that chapter. Yeah, so now we are all ready. It was so much that I couldn't even close my project box, but I'm all ready to start sewing. Yeah, and I think for my own peace of mind, I'm going to watch the video again, Kimberly Jolly's video again, just to make sure, because although you all have been so encouraging and relating how much it helps you and the precision of it, I'm going to watch her video again just to be sure, because I did have a brain fart when it came to cutting this. Now, I started cutting this one out, and for some reason, I was just confused. You know, and it's not like I woke up yesterday and became a quilter. But you have to be kind to yourself, because this instruction may have been written for a specific kind of brainwave. I was not getting it, but I lucked out because I texted a picture to my friend Cheryl, who is one half of Stitching with the Sisterlies, and said, I don't get it, I don't get it, I don't get it. And she came over and she explained it to me. So I will finishing cutting this one out, so that then I've got my 2 fall winter quilts all ready to go. And then we have this one. So the 3 quilts that will be done, starting with the Woven Star for breast cancer awareness. And then this is the third one. I absolutely love this one. I absolutely love it. This is definitely going in my ocean room. And I bought this background fabric from Pioneer Quilts. Mariner's Compass. Perfect for this quilt. I've got my projects laid out, my sewing machine projects laid out for fall, winter. Okay, so what else? Well, I showed you this, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. So when I got the Woven Star quilt kit in the mail, I also received this book. I mean, look at that. Look at that Volkswagen with the pillows. Isn't that beautiful? But I thought this would be lovely as holiday gifts or birthday gifts to make someone a pillow. And I mean, some of these pillows, I really am drawn to this one right here. I think it's like a pickle dish or something, that block. And I've never made anything like that. So I think I'm going to try to do that as gifts. And look at this one here. Isn't that beautiful? Butterfly. And I have 2 packets of Edita's, because won't we like her, Edita Sitar of Laundry Basket Quilts. The little charm packs that will help with this pillow talk. So I feel somewhat like a squirrel. I have a lot of squirrels in my yard, but I feel somewhat like a squirrel where I'm kind of hunkering down. The cold weather's coming. I don't want to be caught without all the things I need to make me happy in the beehive. And so I have been doing that, what do you call that? Feathering my nest kind of thing for the next few months when it won't be so fun to go out. Although I don't think I could miss a stitch day at Pioneer Quilts. It's only 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes according to my car. And my car seems to know where I'm going anyway. But it is very close to my house. And the Woolly Wednesday group that I go to there is such a diverse and interesting group of people. And I would say at least 3/4 of them also go to Acorns and Threads for cross-stitch group, which I don't know why I didn't totally recognize that until like a couple of times ago when I started thinking, well, wait a minute. But a group of them go to the Friday embroidery cross-stitch group. And it's just kind of fun when paths cross and you recognize people and you get to say, hi, how you doing? And you realize how close you really are to people who love the same things you love. Yeah. I celebrate my birthday the whole month of October. I'm just telling you. And my friend Sandy, who lives up in Canada, has for the last handful of years sent me a crow calendar. I love crows. I have a lot of crows in my world. My yard is filled with crows. They are quite verbal and they have opinions about a lot of stuff. And so these calendars are just, you know, wonderful. A Vancouver photographer is, it says, known for her detailed, insightful, and often hilarious portraits of crows and ravens. And that's what we have. I have that bird app, you know, that sometimes when G and I sit out in the backyard, I'll turn the bird app on, and it'll listen for the bird sounds and then identify which kind of bird it is. And we have both crows and ravens. I mean, look at this guy. Look at that hairdo. Yeah. So, Sandy, thank you so much, because I mean, but this one here, look, wait a second, let me just, look at that. That's an intelligent bird. That's an intelligent bird. So once that one comes down, I can't get rid of them because I love the photography, but this one will go hanging up there. And I kind of like, one of the things I like about this is that it tells me what kind of moon is coming up. So like the first full moon in January 2025 is the full wolf moon. So then I kind of want to do something woofy. Woofy. So I also, because I had seen the crow calendar when it arrived and loved it, and it still is October, I bought myself a gift. And it's a sweatshirt. See this gray sweatshirt, but look at this. Is that hysterical? Yeah, yeah. Support your local murder, because that's what a group of crows is called, a murder. Yeah. And they're quite verbal. They're quite verbal. I've been doing a lot of thinking about my projects. I don't know whether you like to stay in denial about everything you have, but every so often I will watch somebody who makes me think outside the box. And this last week I was watching Patchy Pony, and I'll put that link below. She is across the pond, way across the pond. She's a horsewoman, and she's a cross-stitcher. And in her last video, she ventured into English paper piecing. I love English paper piecing. It's almost like I need to set up a calendar where one day I know that this day I'm going to work on English paper piecing, this day I'm going to work on wool, this day I'm going to turn my sewing machine on. You know, I would like to have, I know that my friend Cassie Jo, she does like a rotation, and I think that I would like to do a rotation, but that means that I have to remember I'm doing a rotation. And I'm not sure that's a possibility. I don't know. But back to Patchy Pony. She started doing her English paper piecing. I have a ton of English paper piecing around here. And then she went on to her cross stitch, and she went through and looked at her UFOs and like decided, I'm never going to do that. You know, I have a hard time giving up. I want to believe that I can do it. But the reality is, like she said, is that sometimes you lose the desire, or what you liked, like a color you liked last year. Maybe you don't like it so much this year, that kind of thing. And so she was getting rid of some UFOs, just cutting them out of her life. And I started thinking about that because I have a ton of project boxes filled with these different projects that I love. And I thought, because I can't just quite give it up, that maybe I could reinvent it. And that's what I think I'm going to do. And so the biggest thing, I mean, what spurred me on too, was that I got an email from the Sue Spargo site that said she was doing a cruise to Hawaii, along with 3 other quilters, and one of them was Sujata, who absolutely is the loveliest person in the world. And so I told G, I said, "Do you want to go on a cruise to Hawaii?" And it was the first time in the last 3 or 4 years when I've said, "Do you want to go to," that he didn't automatically say no before he got all the details. And he spent some of his childhood in Hawaii because his father worked for the newspaper there. But so he paused, so I decided that I was going to read it through, get a little bit excited, look at what cabins were available, and I'm like looking through the thing, sold out. I mean, I literally opened my laptop, the email loaded, it had just arrived. I clicked on the link. I said, "Do you want to go?" I mean, this all didn't even take 5 minutes. And then I went down to the rooms, knowing what room on a ship we would like and could afford. Sold out. Just like that. Yeah. A lot of people want to do it. A lot of people want to do it. But it made me think also about my Sue projects, because I have gone on a cruise. We went on a South American cruise with Sue Spargo, and through the Panama Canal. It was absolutely fabulous. We had a fabulous time. And so I am a big Sue groupie. The problem is that I want to do it all, and I can't. Because I want to do everything, and you literally can't do everything. Am I preaching to the choir here, or are you all looking at me kind of like, duh, duh? Part of the problem is that when Sue does a block of the month, she will put out a embellishment for your project bag. And I get the project bag done. So here's my project bag for Kappa. My project bag is done. My Kappa is not. And it's filled with all the threads and the things that you need for Kappa. That is a whole nother discussion about how I need to stop putting all the threads in a specific project, because I will automatically start another project and have to buy other thread because I can't find the thread because it's in here. You know what I'm talking about. So when I look at, and I keep my projects in these projects, depending on the size of the project, in these boxes, I look at Kappa and I fell in love with it. You know, I fell in love with it. In the Pacific Northwest, we are all about coffee. And you got your binder with your patterns ready. And I prep ahead, so like this is all prepped, ready to stitch. I'm one of those. Prepped, ready to stitch. Prepped, ready to stitch. Already stitched. Already stitched. Let me think. Did you think I had a did you think I had a little bit of a stroke there? What I want to say is that I don't have to do it like this. I mean, my wall space is, I've said this before, and I know I'm like beating a dead horse, which sounds kind of gross, doesn't it? But my family is filled with creators, and so I have stuff all over the place that not only have I created, but G's created, the kids have created, the grandkids. You know, we are a family of creators. So I'd have to take something down to hang something up. So I thought, why do I have to make it? This is like an aha moment for me. Why do I have to make it like this? I can make it smaller where I might have a space. You know, I could make like a 4-patch, make a small quilt, and you know, finish stitching these ones that I have already prepped. I love them. And make a smaller wall hanging where I might find a spot. So I'm thinking about that. I am thinking about readjusting my world. In this case here, this was actually, let's get moving here. Let's get some space here. This was actually a class I took in for a small quilt. That's what I'm talking about. I need to make more small quilts because I don't have a lot of space left. Either that or we have to move again and get a bigger house, which the two of us don't need a bigger house. So I took a class from Sue in Tucson where you made your own story. And this was my own story. I made it into a bag cover. This is one of Sue's bag patterns. And so it has inserts. You put Velcro at the bottom, and it has inserts that hold your thread and any fabric you might need. And this was my story. We were camping in Arizona. We had a tiny home there. And I loved all the oranges that were laying on the ground and the grapefruit. There's a barrel cactus and the sun, but yet there'll be a rain cloud and suddenly you get rain. Jackrabbit. Oh, and then this saguaro cactus right here. I just love this bag. But whether it be Sue's projects or Lisa Bonjean, Primitive Gatherings, Kathy Schmitz, all of those, because I do 80% handwork. I put the threads in there that I think I need for that project. And so I have threads. I can't find threads. I was looking for some Valdani because when I went to Pioneer Quilts, I was stitching on a Primitive Gathering autumn quilt with the pumpkins in the border, and I couldn't find the green that I wanted, but I know I have it. It's just in some project. So I think this winter I want to work on that aspect of it, that get my threads more centralized, and when I go to work on it seems easier. I know it seems easier that we would just pick up the box and it's got all the threads in it, but then you get too many, you're buying too many of the same threads maybe because you need them in 2 or 3 different boxes. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it is, I've been doing a lot of pondering. Been doing a lot of pondering. I don't know if you noticed, but the backdrop here has changed a little bit. I put a binding on a quilt and gifted it as a birthday present for a family member. And then the pumpkin quilt is in a project bag going back and forth to Pioneer Quilts where I can stitch on that, kind of stitching in the season. I think this is the next one that's going to get a binding on it because I want to hang it off my stair rail at the holidays. It'll be really pretty. So yeah, I don't know, a lot of you are on the other side of the hemisphere and you're getting into your gardening mode. And over here we're hunkering down. And so yeah, I'm just thinking about all of those times when it's going to feel so cozy to stay inside, look at the rain or the snow, and just be stitching. Just be stitching. Yeah, I have, we finished watching Joe Pickett. I really wish there was another season, but they canceled after 2 seasons. And at least it ended in a way that I could live with it. I was really worried on that last episode. I have got sucked into, because I don't want to watch anything that's going to make me emotional. I don't know about you, but I watch TV to escape, not to be, not to have to think a whole lot. So I started watching Survivor. And it's kind of weird because I think it's like mostly millennials or Gen Xers, so their approach to the game is totally different. And then I finished reading Lifespan, which is, I think everyone should take a gander at that. It's about, it's written by a Harvard scientist, and it's about aging and how we need to tweak our view of it. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. But I think I might be ready for a lighthearted read. I'm not quite sure yet. Oh, so then because of the whole needing a little bit of lightheartedness, I watched Elsbeth and Matlock with Kathy Bates. And both of those were entertaining to me. They were both entertaining. Okay, well, that's it. I hope that you get some stitching done. I hope you can feel comfortable with reevaluating how you feel about your projects and what you want to do this fall and winter. Because no one's the boss of you. You get to do what you want to do. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know, I love you guys.